Good luck.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Game Addicts podcast, the show where we talk about the modern and retro video games that we play and collect. I'm your host, Brando. Join with me today, as always, this podcast player 2, Mike.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going pretty good. This is episode 43, inching ever so closely to that big number, episode 50. It's kind of crazy that we've kind of gone this far, and really just like about a year and a half. I mean, granted, we started, one episode, 2 episodes a month.
Right.
And we're like, it's not good enough, man. We got to talk about games more often.
Yes.
But, it's been a week since we got together and talked. You got a couple of pickups. We're going to get to that in just a minute. But let's just put a bow on last week's episode. You got a big Xbox 360 bundle last week.
Yes.
And, of course, the game was not in the case. Was that Diablo 3?
But it was in the console.
It was in the console. So, thankfully you did get all the games that were advertised in the post. And, all that for $50, it's a great deal.
Right.
Awesome deal. As for someone who's looking to get another 360 to, kind of shelve my Star Wars unit, that way I'm not using it that much.
Right.
That's a great deal, and I'm a little jelly because I haven't found as good a deal as that.
It was literally up for 10 minutes before I messaged her and said, hey, I want this.
Yeah.
And she was nice enough. She goes, I'll put it on hold for you. I'm going to Indianapolis. And I was like, well, I have time. I'll just come get it now. Because a lot of places, and it's happened to me before, I've been burned on the Halo edition, Xbox, OG Xbox, and I didn't want to take the chance. But she was real nice. But let me tell you something.
She didn't wipe the console.
She didn't
format
console.
it, put it back to standard.
It was in Japanese.
All Japanese.
And me and you literally turned it on, and we're like, well, I guess we're pulling up the menu online so we can manually go through this.
Well, because when it changes the language for everything.
Everything.
And
which is funny, though, that you still get the Japanese and then Xbox.
So it's been so long since I've gone through the menu. I was never a huge 360 nut. I mean, there were a few years there, probably, 2010 to 2012. In those 2 years, I played a lot of 360.
Right.
Because I was playing the Mass Effect series, but then I was slowly getting a few games for the system, just to be like, well, I have the system that I play Mass Effect on, and that's it.
Right.
So me and Rob, we got Resident Evil. I got Fallout, 3 for it. I got a few other games that I played a lot on the 360, the Gears series. That's where I played the Arkham series. I picked them up for that system instead of the PS3. So I did remember. I'm like, well, all the way over to the right is the settings, but I don't know where to go from there. So we were able to get, thankfully with some
Thank you
pictures.
For the internet.
Yeah, thanks for the internet. Granted, I said I could have gone home and gone right back there and fired up mine, and we could have been okay. Go over here, go down one, go down. But we got it figured out. And then were you able to get your gamer tag back?
No. So I tried to pull it back up, and it wouldn't let me. And I couldn't remember the password. And I had a lot of issues with renaming. And I thought about it for a minute. I was like, it doesn't really matter if I have the same gamer tag, because a lot of these games are going to play by myself. I'm not playing online. It doesn't matter to me. So I went to rename. Your crazy name they rename you. I renamed myself. Sorry, the Xbox servers are down right now for this. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So I closed out of it. Pay $10 to change your name.
Oh, no.
So I'm stuck with whatever weird name they gave me. And I was like, well, that's kind of shitty.
Smoochie Reloaded.
Yeah.
There's a guy we used to work with. He got an Xbox from a friend, and when he made a name, they just gave him a name, and it was Smoochie Reloaded. So he forever, online, we just called him Smoochie.
Yep.
So, it's awesome. I mean, that's such an awesome deal. It sucks about the name, but...
The name it's not a big deal. And to me, it doesn't. Like I said, I was sitting there, I was like, I'd really like to have my name back.
Yeah.
And then I really thought about it. I was like, yeah, but who gives a shit?
Yeah, right. Well, if you're just going to be using it to play games and to, you're not going to, as you said, do any online.
Even if I'm online.
And you're not going to be worried about, like, all my achievements and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I don't care about that.
Which, actually, that's pretty cool. We can segue into a news story that I got. Microsoft is working on fundamentally changing the Xbox achievement system.
Huh.
Now, we don't really know what all that entails yet, but, speaking to Windows Central Xbox Platform Corporate Vice President Mike Ybarra, hope I said that right, explained that his team is working towards a bigger, more meaningful change about somebody's gaming accomplishments and history as a gamer on Xbox. The idea, it seems, is to reward those who intensively play a single game as much as those who play many games. And don't worry, score hunters, it sounds as though traditional achievements will still be sticking around.
Right.
And he says, we can do a lot more to reflect and let people show their gaming history and their status, Ybarra continued. Whether it's somebody who only plays multiplayer in Halo 5 at a professional level, maybe they only have 2,000 gamer score, you want to be able to celebrate that person. While Ybarra explained that the specifics of how achievements will be altered can't be discussed right now, we're going to go big in the area of letting people show off and represent their gaming history and the type of gamer that they are, far more than we do with just the gamer score.
I feel like a really good thing for this achievement is a lot of people. We've known a few people that are all about their gamer score. That's all that matters. But I think it'd be cool to gain things from your achievements, like exclusive skins, exclusive avatars.
Stuff for your avatar, yeah.
I mean, stuff like
and
that.
You know what? Sometimes you do get that kind of stuff. You get stuff for avatar. I want to say, well, maybe it wasn't the actual achievement system, but some games have an achievement
Some games have an achievement system in-game system, but
yeah.
not as of
The
Microsoft doesn't have. But I think that would be neat.
Now, just in closing, the achievements were introduced in 2005, a long time ago.
Yeah.
That's when the 360 launched.
12 years ago.
I feel so old, man. And they haven't changed a great deal in that time. In 2014, Ray Cox IV became the first player to hit 1 million gamer score and was given a lifetime Xbox Gold membership for his efforts.
That's awesome. See, that's really neat to get. But 1 million. When did he get it?
2014.
2014 to get
Took him 9 years.
9 years to get 1 million to get a lifetime.
Now, granted, he wasn't going for the lifetime membership. His goal was to get to 1 million.
Right.
And I think I remember reading some articles around that time where he was documenting how much he had to play certain games, some games achievements. He said that he would try to max them, but if it just got to a point where he was like spending way too much time, he would just move on and go to another game. I do remember some people getting really caught up in the achievement and trophy hunting.
Yes.
Like trophies or PlayStation. And some people really got into that. And I remember Rob, our good friend Silent Rob, was really getting into the achievements at one point and trying to raise stuff up. I remember him playing like Kung Fu Panda just to get the full achievement.
Huh.
Didn't really care to play the game, but he's like, whatever, I'll play it. And then he got the achievements. Lego Indiana Jones, he got it for that or whatever. But for me, it was never like I only ever tried to get achievements for I think the Mass Effect series because I wanted to try and get as much as I could because that's my series, that's my thing. I wanted to get as much as I could for that, and I never did master any of them. Mass Effect 1 has a terrible achievement system. Like seriously, they have an achievement for play most of the game with this squad mate, and there are 6 squad mates, so literally. You have to replay the game
each time to get
each time.
Oh man!
And also, there are some characters that it won't count. It's like, for example, you don't get Garrison Rex at the beginning of the game. You get them right after the beginning of the game. So as soon as you get them, you have to put them in your party. Otherwise, you won't maximize that. Same with Tali. And then Liara, you get her. Yeah, you can choose to get her on the first mission after the Citadel, like once the game opens up.
Right.
Or you can wait. You can wait to go get her as long as you want. But in order to get the achievement, you have to go get her right away and then put her in your party and have her for the rest of the game.
Jeez.
It sucks. And what really sucks is that they're really, like, you would have to go onto a website, onto a YouTube channel to try and get somebody else's take on this is what worked for me. Because there is no absolute written detailed of how this is going to trigger for you.
Right.
Because I thought that I should have had it on one time, and I didn't. And it didn't trigger. I'm like, how did that not trigger? But, I mean, some games are glitched and some games won't let you trigger. You know, I remember there was I want to say I listened to either Podcast Beyond or PS I Love You, XOXO, and Greg Miller from Kind of Funny. He's big into trophies. And I can't remember what game he was playing. Maybe it was the Division, or it was some other game where it wouldn't let him platinum it. It would not trigger. And that's because when he got the game, he got it, you know, kind of early.
Right.
He got it before the retail thing, and it was a little glitched. And they've since patched it. He goes, but literally, like, I've already done it. I've done it. It just didn't trigger. So now they're gonna have to make me do that requirement again. And he goes, I don't know if I have it in me to do that.
Right.
You know. But I think it's kind of cool because, you know, there are different levels of gamers. There are the hardcore gamers that get all the AAA games all the time.
Right.
And they that is their main hobby, and they circle their life around just gaming. You know, unfortunately, you know,
we can't do that.
Well, no. I mean, if I didn't have a kid, I'd be playing a lot more games.
Yeah.
But then, you know, when you look at me having a toddler, when you look at everything that we're doing with the podcasting, with this podcast, the Journey into Comics Network, and all that kind of stuff, which we're going to talk about that in just a minute. But I've been too busy with all that and work. I've just been too over encumbered.
Yeah.
I cannot fast travel at this juncture. But let's talk about the Journey into Comics Network for just a second, because I want to bring that up. We talked about it last week. Said that we're going to be involved. We're going to promote them. Well, we are, but we're also going to give them something. Now, granted, I started the network with Nate. We started the podcast. He started the podcast, brought me on board. And that gave us an avenue to do that podcast. And then eventually we split into a couple different sidecasts. And this was one of them. The Game Addicts podcast started on the Journey to Comics podcast feed.
Right.
That has grown into the network feed where we now have 6 shows over there. We have the Journey to Comics podcast, Journey into Wrestling, Foodies Watching Movies. We have the Poor Rapport. We have the Voice of Survival podcast, and we have Podcastrophe. We also have a few more that are sort of in development and we're not ready to announce at this time.
Right.
We have one that is close, and we have one that pretty much I just kind of dangled the carrot and reached out to somebody. Said, hey, if you want to do a show, you can do a show.
Right.
And he seemed very, very interested. So I'm very hopeful that that's going to happen, hopefully within a year. I'm not putting a timetable on that because this is a slow burn. This is starting over again. So what does that mean for this? As I said last week, it doesn't mean anything. You know, that doesn't change what we're doing here. We left that feed to strike out on our own because, I mean, at the time, we didn't have, like, we weren't planted in the sand that this is going to be a network over there on the Journey to Comics feed because I had reservations.
Right.
I was nervous. We have a few shows, and we are doing the shows. Now, we have enough of a base of people where we have 6 shows, and literally I'm only on 2 of them. Yeah. Nate's on 3 of them. Okay, and the rest of them are other people. That's awesome. To me, that is like such an accomplishment. Let's go back in time. In January, we struck out on the GameAddicts.podbean.com. If we'd never done that, we would be a part of that, 100%. We would be here. But we still are because every Thursday, you're going to get this show here. You're going to get it on YouTube. You're going to get it on GameAddicts.podbean.com, on all of our RSS feed, all of the podcast stuff that we're up on, the iTunes, the Podbean, Stitcher, and Google Play, all that. But if you go over to the Journey to Comics Patreon, which I'm going to have linked below, and I'm going to share it like crazy on social network, you're going to be able to get this show up to a week early. Yeah. We do this show sometimes an entire week early. Like today it's Saturday, so we go live on Thursdays. Sometimes we get together on Thursdays as the other show is just coming out. Yep. And we do the next week's show. We talk about some news, so that news is a little bit dated by the time it comes out. Yeah. You still get to hear our take on it and everything like that. Sometimes some of this news just goes by people. They don't keep up with it as much as we do. But if you go to the Journey to Comics Patreon, And we have 2 tiers, $1, $3. That's it. $1 gets you early access to everything we do. When it's done, when it's edited, you don't have to wait till Thursday.
Yep.
Listen to it right then and there. And when you do become a patron, you will get a passcode to a private RSS feed. You could put that onto your favorite, podcast service, onto your cell phone, whatever. And you're going to get not only this show, but all the other shows that the network offers as well. And we're just kind of doing that as a bonus because whatever the Patreon gets, whatever we get from that, it's going to eventually trickle down to help out this show as well because we're all a family. We're all in this together. And whether or not this show is on the network feed separate, that doesn't mean anything because when we're planning the network, we have this show in mind. And by all that said, we are a part of that network. We're just not on that network.
Right.
It's hopefully not that confusing to talk about, but we are all together.
Yes.
And now, via the Patreon, that's the only way that you can get this show and all those shows in the same feed if you want that. And if you don't want that, that's fine. You don't have to do that. You can just keep watching and listening like you have already, and it doesn't affect you at all. It's just that we're going to talk about it. We're going to plug it a little bit and try and encourage people to do it because we've been doing this for free for going on 3 years. And we are gladly to do so, but it's also, hey, let's maybe make a little bit of money at this and put some money in our pockets, help out with some hosting a little bit. Let's, we are so proud of our content that we're putting out. If people want to help us, that's awesome. And so we hope to see that happen. So now that that's been said, we can move on to another bit of story that you were really excited about, and I know you were because we've been talking about it on this show for a while.
Pre-ordered.
Fallout 4 Game of the Year Edition release date has been announced, September 26th. Now it's coming out for the PS4, Xbox One, and PC. And it, of course, is going to have a collector's Pip-Boy edition. So if you missed it the first time around on the original one, you can get one here as well.
Only $100.
Yeah, for $100. Now, I assume that the main game is going to be $60, which is still a good deal because if you haven't bought the game yet, like that DLC, that season pass is $50.
Yep.
So this is
the game's, I think, 20 now.
Is it 20 used?
Yeah. That's what I paid for it.
I've been the season pass a while ago when I first started playing again was on sale for $35.
Yeah.
Not a bad deal considering that I think the season pass originally was like $30 and then they upped it to $50.
Yeah, well, they had a lot more.
They did. They went all out on their DLC for Fallout 4.
Yes.
And so they apologized and they said they even said I remember this. They said, "Look, we originally announced it at $30. If you want it at that, you can still get that for now for a week and a half or whatever. And then this date, we're bumping it up to $50. So we actually encourage you, go buy it now. Because you're going to get it cheaper. And I thought that was really cool. Then they didn't have to do that.
Right.
So this is going to include all 6 of the games, DLC, the Nuka World, Vault-Tec Workshop, the Contraptions Workshop, Far Harbor, Wasteland Workshop, and Automatron. All that stuff that you can add to make your settlements, like all these things that the base game has, they just add so much to it.
Have you seen the, which one is it? The workshop one?
Mm-hmm.
The workshop one's really neat because you can make ammo.
I know.
You can make weapons. You can make any of that stuff. It's pretty neat.
So as soon as I saw this, I sent it to you because I didn't know if you had seen it. And I knew that as soon as it was going to be, because we hadn't heard anything about this.
Nothing.
We didn't even know if there was one going to be coming. But finally now, almost 2 years after the release of the original game, we're getting a Game of the Year edition, which it's awesome. And I'm probably going to just pick this up and have another copy of the game. I mean, at this point, it's like, why go out?
Were you going to get the Pip-Boy one?
I am not going to get the Pip-Boy one. Number one, my phone won't fit in it. And number two, dude, I don't have no room for that kind of stuff no more. The Persona 5 one, it's got to be my last one. I can't get any more collector's editions, even though I want one. Here's another news item. Holy shit. Ys 8 coming out early September to North America on the PS Vita, on the PS4, collector's editions for both.
Don't you have all the collector's editions of Ys for
I don't have all of them. I don't for handheld, yeah. I've got the PSP ones. I got the Vita one for 4.
Just saying. I'm not saying. I'm just saying.
It's not fair because right now, dude, I'm not supposed to be buying much.
Right.
You know, I have to pick and choose when I can buy something. I did buy something just the other day, which we're going to get to in a bit. I now really want the Mega Man Legacy collections. I didn't want Mega Man Legacy 1. It only has 1 through 6. Get away from me. I got you on another system.
Right.
And then they're like, hey, here's Mega Man Legacy 2, which has 7, 8, whatever. I got those on their systems. 9 and 10, which were only available digitally on the last gen.
Yeah.
All right, let's get my wallet out.
Take my money.
So now that's that's $20. You can probably find them the original for 20 or 15. Right. So literally for 30, 35 bucks, you can have all 10 Mega Man games on 2 discs. I'm thinking about getting them for the Xbox One.
Huh.
There's a reason, okay? And that's because of the D-pad for the Xbox One is a little bit more of an old school D-pad than the PS4.
Yeah.
PS4 will probably work just fine, but for Mega Man, you got to be able to have that precise platforming and that kind of stuff. I'm leaning towards getting it there, and then they're just Mega Man games. You know, I'm not worried about playing online. I'm not worried about doing this or that, and so that'll give me 2 more physical copy games to have on that and grow the Xbox One collection just a little bit.
Speaking of physical copies of something, what is your pickup?
It's not here. It has not been shipped yet. Shut up, Dongo.
I don't care about you, Dongo.
So, I'm gonna bring it up right here. You guys won't be able to see it, but he will. So I got this. Limited run games on Friday. On Friday what was the date? The 11th?
Yes, Friday was the 11th.
Okay, so they launched the physical copy runs of Night Trap. And what Night Trap is, if anybody doesn't know, Night Trap was released originally on the Sega CD, was on a couple other systems as well. That is back when they first had CD games, they were like, we can do like real video games, like we film it with C-list, D-list, E-list actors that can't get work anywhere else, and then you sort of like interact with it like QuickTime events and stuff like that, right?
Right.
Night Trap was one of the more controversial ones because they showed girls in their nightgowns. Got parents up in a rage, rabble, along with the violence in Mortal Kombat.
Right.
And helped to the creation of the rating board, where you see, like for example, I'll show you this. M for mature, E 10 for everyone, 10 and plus. So we didn't really have a rating system before that.
That's E10.
So this game kind of helped to that, and that game hasn't been out on a console 20 years. Right. Maybe 25 years. And so it came out on the Sega CD. There was a version for the Sega CD plus 32X. If you had both of them, it would make it play even better. There was one maybe for the 3DO. I don't remember if there was actually one for that. PC. It came out on PC. Yeah. So this game is coming out digitally on the PS4 on the 15th.
Right.
And then so Limited Run Games got the go ahead, and they made 5,000 copies of Night Trap, for physical copy for the PS4. And then they had a collector's edition, and I think they did 2,500 of those.
Right.
And they had the PC edition that last I checked, they were still available. By the time you hear this, they might not be. PS4 is all sold out.
Right.
And my wife, my loving wife, Caitlin, she got up early. They went on sale at 10 o'clock, got me a copy. Non-collector's edition, because what came with the collector's edition, I don't care. Do I care about this game that much? No. I've always wanted to play it. I don't have a Sega CD. I don't have a 3DO.
Right.
I have a PC. I guess I could do it that way. And then I guess I could just download it if I want to play it. But I'm like, you know what? This would be a cool piece of gaming history to own.
Yes.
And then having a limited run copy of it. Looking back 10 years from now, people are going to be like, how did you get that? Limited run games.
Yeah.
Because literally a lot of stuff you can get on there, it's very limited. As I said,
yes.
Only like 7,500 copies total. Maybe they had a few more. They had a big bundle where you could get everything they had on sale yesterday for $200, because they had like a collector's vinyl. They had the collector's edition. You had the PC, the PS4. Then you had another game, which was an all new game. I don't remember the name of it, but it was like a modern day FMV game.
Huh.
And they bundled that in there as well. So. Yeah, when that gets here, you guys will see it. I'll bring it here, and I'm going to open it on the podcast.
Yes.
Because I don't really care to keep things sealed.
Right.
I don't care. People are like, how could you do it? That's going to be worth so much money.
I don't plan on selling it.
Some men just want to watch the world burn.
You're one of those men.
I don't care. I want to play the game. The game comes with a manual. It comes with a map, a color manual. How often do you see that anymore?
Yeah.
You know, I want to be able to. I bought this thing for $35 total. $30, $5 shipping and handling. That is not bad.
No.
It's gonna be cheap, and then get that, and then they put all this love into doing a physical copy for that. It has a reversible cover. So like the one cover has like the Sega CD box art style, and then the other one has like this old school horror movie, thing for that, and it's just, it's really freaking cool. They have 0% inventory left, and they will not begin shipping until after the 15th, until the game is out. So next episode, I may not have it, but hopefully the one after that, I'll have it, and we'll get to open it and get to see all the little goodies inside. Now, if only I've been able to get some of the other games they've had on here.
Yeah.
And there's actually a game they have coming out that I'm just sitting here rocking back and forth, gritting my teeth. They have a physical copy of Ys Origins coming out, and I'm just like, not Ys Origins, Ys Origins, which is available digitally on the PS4. So I'm shaking my fist at that. The Ys 8 collector's editions, the PS4 is $100.
Right.
The PS Vita is $60. And the Vita one, you get all the stuff that's in the...
Wow.
Yeah.
$40 cheaper.
Well, and it's if it's coming out for both systems, it's the same game.
Yeah.
And it's like I have all the other Ys games minus one on handheld. That's the one I want.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, handheld's the way to go.
I want it, but I can't get it.
All right.
Meanwhile, you actually have some pickups.
I have some physical pickups.
Yeah.
So, this first game here I bought on just a whim. I was like, it's an impulse buy. It's called Avon Colony. I've never seen it before.
Never heard of it.
So, when I was reading the back, like we used to do before, you never had YouTube to do this. This is kind of why I wanted to do it. It's not what I was hoping for. So, I used to play Civilization a lot.
Yeah.
I like Civilization. It's a good game. When I got this, I thought, this is like a space-age Civilization game, which it is to a degree, but you don't build troops to fight. You don't go anywhere. You just have one settlement that you take care of in missions until you acquire what you're supposed to get. That's it. There's nothing else to it other than you build up your colony or your settlement, and that's it. I was very disappointed. No. Not saying that it's not a good game if you're into it's kind of like a Sims, but you can't walk around or do anything like that. You just build up this civilization.
I'm trying to see where you can buy a copy of it because I've never seen that game in person.
This is brand new. I bought it brand new.
Oh, did you buy? Where'd you buy it at?
The Devil's Playground.
Devil's Playground. Oh man. Is that where you bought this as well?
Yeah, it's the only place I've been able to find this.
Now, was that brand new as well?
This was not brand new. This was used. Unfortunate because it's a day one, and I could have got Sephiroth.
No.
Sephiroth summon.
Sephiroth.
Yeah. And a red Tomberry. That's a bonnet berry. It's not a Tomberry. It's a bonnet berry.
Yeah, well,
he's got a bonnet.
Yeah, he's wearing a little bit of bonnet on it. I like how the Moogle has like the little bonbon has like a ring around it.
Yeah. Some of them do, some of them don't. But so this game, I like this game. This game is World of Final Fantasy on the Vita, which I wanted on the Vita because portability.
RPG portability.
What I do.
That's where I like mine.
It's very unique. It in the opening scene, it shows Titus. I'm drawing a blank. I'm trying to think of FF8's main character. Squall. It has Cloud. It shows all of them fighting. And I was like, oh, you're going to get them to fight with. Well, you don't get them to fight with. You meet them in the world, and they talk to you, about what's going on. It's cool, but it has one of the things I like about it is that it has the names of the characters and like their original description. So I got a mimic, and if I can remember this, I might have to pull it up. But he gets a mimic, and he's like, a mimic, not to be confused with the rest of the mimics in the game, but he really wants to be one of those. He has identity issues, and it has this thing that goes out. I sent you a message the other day.
Yeah, of the copper.
The copper gnome.
I think it might have been a messenger, or no? Was it in text?
No, it was a messenger.
We go back and forth.
Yeah, we do.
That's
that's Journey.
Yeah, that's the network thing.
All right, so this state, I hate that. So. Composited almost entirely of copper, this metal with the metal takes pride in his tough hide. It is incredibly satisfying to face one of these and shout, "Meh, see? You'll never take me alive, copper." So it has
the
thing is, if you get this reference, then congratulations, you are old. So they have a lot of that. There's a lot of love for the series. Actually, you meet, I don't know if it's supposed to be the woman that created this world, but it's unique the way it goes about showing each one of them. Like, I met Yuna, and she was like, "You're not supposed to be here. I'm going to kick your ass."
And then she did.
And then she about did. She did kill off one of my stacks. But so how it works is, this is like a traditional Final Fantasy. You can make it like a traditional Final Fantasy, but it has Pokemon elements in it because you have to capture each one of these quote-unquote mirages, and then they fight for your side. It's kind of like Pokemon. Catch a wild Pokemon, now he's tamed and you use him. Same concept. They have their own spell tree, so you can level them up. They have evolutions, quote-unquote, transfigurations, but you can stack on top of each other.
Yeah.
So you have two forms. You have human form, or Gant form, and Lincoln form. Lincoln form is like your medium-sized little like old sprites.
Yeah.
It looks just like the old, I want to say Final Fantasy 3 because that's really what it looks like to me, is the Final Fantasy 3 sprites. You can be those. You run around. You can fight in each form. Now, you stack your characters up, and if you stack somebody with fire, 3 people with fire, it turns into Fire. If you have 2 people with fire and 1 person with fire, you get Fire. So there is a way in this game to quickly make you to have one of the top spells in the game very soon, because you can evolve these guys at your own pace. If you have your party, you fight with them. They level up. As they level up, you have to hit a certain level, and then they are available to transform or evolve into the next form. Like I have a Fret, which is Ifrit's first form. He's a little bitty, looks like a little puppy with horns.
Yeah.
He turns into Ifrit. And in the beginning of the game, first boss you meet, you get to choose Ifrit, Shiva, Rama. You choose who you fight. And then when they say, okay, you're not who you are, blah, 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 they give you their baby form. I kind of want to see what Baby Rama looks like, because you need a little bee guy with a little bee staff. With a little beard. I wonder if he has a beard.
It would be funny if he still had the beard.
So the little bee guy. But it is very unique because it feels like Final Fantasy. Every part of it feels like Final Fantasy, but it has extra elements in it that make it, like the stacking system.
Yeah.
At first, I was like, I don't really like this. But you can kind of cheat the system a little. So you have a couple guys that have really strong spells. You can drop your stack. You can unstack. If you get hit unstacked, you're probably going to die. But it keeps your time stamp, and you can do their spells and then restack and almost go back to where the stack speed was.
Yeah.
So you can kind of cheat the system a little bit.
Well, like, every single Final Fantasy has its own new, unique system.
Right.
And you like, some people like more than others. People really like, the relic system from FF6, materia system. Some people really love the sphere grid from 10.
If you use it right.
And use it right.
It's
and
good.
then, and here's the thing is that while it is grindy, one of the ones I really liked was FF8. Because
I hated
with drawing the magic sucked. Drawing the magic sucked. So what I did is I just throw on some music, start watching something on my phone, play that in the background, and I just kind of mindlessly do it for a little while. It's a grind. But then once you get it, and once you get like your GFs leveled up to where you can start junctioning magic into your stats.
Yes.
You can really overpower yourself really early in the game and be a badass.
Yeah.
Where nothing, basically leveling up on your physical level on that game doesn't do anything for you.
Yeah, it does nothing.
You get a little bit more health, you get a little bit more of this, but then the enemies level with you. You getting the upper hand in them is using your magic to junction. Now, the one thing that does suck about that is that if you have, that does take away the mage style of play. If you want somebody who's going to be all magic, then they're going to be using their magic stock, and that's going to be slowly depleting their their stat. So typically, what I do is that I overstock, and for the characters I'm not using, I just put overstock onto them, and if I end up using magic, I just go in and transfer over, to bring it back. Because for Squall, I don't use magic, but for Renoa, especially when she becomes a sorceress, and then Quistis and Selphie, I do use magic for them.
Yeah.
And so when it comes to that point, I do just switch back over if I'm not using Zell or Irvine or Irvin, however you want to say his name. If you're not using those guys, or even Squall, since I'm not a magic guy with him, I just stock him with stuff, and he just has all these pages full of crap. And then it's like, all right, now you give here.
Right.
And then he's just there. He's there to draw. He's there to summon, and he's there to just do his thing with his gunblade. But once you get into it and delve into that system and get past that initial grind, it's awesome. And especially when you can start junctioning into status effect.
Yeah.
Where you can draw sleep and put it on your weapon, and every time you hit somebody, you have a chance to inflict them with sleep or poison or confuse or whatever. That's so cool. And then you can also junction defense against that too. So that way it's you can have I'm immune to ice attacks. Good luck. It's you can use stronger attacks too, especially when you get to the island closest to heaven or hell, where they have your ultimas and all this stuff on there. And you have these overpowered,
Ultima's always the overpowered spell.
But yeah, I really dig it, and it really the system is there for you to take advantage of it. When I first played the game, I didn't know what the hell. I just was stop talking. I just want to play the game.
Yeah.
And then once I got a little older, I was like, wow, this is so smart. This is such a unique idea.
And I just, I if I start it over, eventually I will. I will beat it, because my goal is to beat all of them, no matter how hard or how.
I've wanted to do that as well. It was 2015. I'd never beaten the original Legend of Zelda.
God, that's a long game.
On NES, I've never done it. So that shutdown, I sat down. I would go in the back and sit there for hours a night, making my way through that game. And it was such a cool experience because I was so proud of myself to have done it. Because you played the newer ones. My first Legend of Zelda game was Link to the Past. It wasn't the original ones on NES.
Right.
I played NES and I did not play Zelda. Just happenstance, I guess. But going back to that, it's this is the originator. This is the original.
Yep.
I'm going to beat every single Zelda game. I beat that one. And then I started Zelda 2 and went, I don't like this. And then
Link's Adventure?
Yes, Adventure Link, yeah. It was so hard to play that game because it was so different. And then so I went directly to Link to the Past and played the crap out of that. And then it was all right, let's go to, okay, I have a kid. Never mind.
Yeah.
Once I had the kid, that put a stop to that. And I don't think I played a game until the Phantom Pain came out. And then I remember playing the Phantom Pain, him being in his little rocker right there next to me, looking up at me as I'm playing through the Phantom Pain. And that's as much as the Phantom Pain in some ways let me down. That's the memory I'll always have of playing that game, having a lot of fun playing the game, because playing the game's awesome. Despite what they did or did not do with the story or the background controversy with Kojima, Konami, all the things that happened, that this maelstrom that made that game what it is. Playing that game, I'll never forget playing that game and having him look up at me and be like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Call me Snake." That kind of thing. Speaking of, I got something right here to talk about for Metal Gear. We're such good on segues today. I'm so happy. So we talked about the Metal Gear series. I definitely want to do a proper retrospective of the series at some point, where we just have all the games. I know you haven't played them all.
Yeah.
And of course, we should get together and really have like a gaming night where we just let's play through as many of these as we can get through.
Right.
And maybe like take a couple weekends and do that or something.
Maybe we'll big boss Metal Gear Solid.
Good
luck.
I've never done that with this one. I don't know if I've done it with 2. MGS.
You have to beat it first to get the sleep gun.
Well, no, you don't.
Dart gun.
Well, you don't get the sleep gun in this game.
That's 2.
In 2, you get that, and then you get that from the beginning. But the big boss on like you have no kill run, you have like no saves, you have like no heals,
no rations,
no alerts on the hardest level.
Yep.
I have beat the crap out of this game, but I've never done that. So, a couple weeks ago, we talked about the PS Vita and why you should buy one, and when the time is right. And the time is right is now. Go for it, because they are not terribly expensive. The memory cards are. However, there are some workarounds right now.
Yeah.
They're starting to be able to hack this thing. The PS TV, I've actually seen a hack where you can actually replace the main memory card and hack it to think that a USB thumb drive in the back is the memory card. I thought that was so cool. However, there are dangers with hacking, especially when they're not done with the system yet. When they're still updating the system, you run the risk of being caught hacking and them bricking. Number 1, bricking, but number 2, also getting banned from the network.
Yes.
On your current gamer tag or your PlayStation ID.
So what he's saying is, if you plan on attempting this, you should really make a rogue account.
Probably, yeah.
And do it.
But that's not what I'm talking about here today.
Right.
The other week we talked about all the games you can get on the Vita, all these cool Vita games, all these cool PSP games, all these cool PS1 classics, and we said this, and I can't remember if I said that this is or is not. I could not download this before, and I didn't know why. And that's because you cannot get Metal Gear Solid PlayStation Classic on the Vita in America. You can get it in Europe, maybe get it in Japan. You can't get it here. Why? I don't know. Reasons. So, there's a workaround. There is a workaround. And what you got to do is you've got to have a PS3. So, fair warning, guys. Got to have a PS3 to do this. I don't know if you can do this with a PC. Because I think you can share and link files from there too, but I haven't tried it. Plug this in with the little charge cable into your PS3. You can do it via Wi-Fi too, but it's quicker if you do it via USB cable. You're going to, turn your Vita on, and then you're going to go to Content Manager.
Right.
Okay, on your PS3, what you're going to do is that you're going to go into the store and download Metal Gear Solid. Do not install it. Oops.
You clicked on something.
Clicked on settings. Do not install Metal Gear Solid. It has to be the little bubble there waiting to be installed. Because if it's already installed on the PS3, this will not pick it up and say there's nothing there to transfer.
Right.
So you copy that to here, and it'll appear right there, Metal Gear Solid.
Yep.
And it runs 100% perfectly. Nothing wrong with it. Apparently there was a...
As you can hear, it loads up.
Yeah, it loads up. Apparently there is a security risk with this game in North America, and they never patched it. They just said, meh, whatever. We don't care.
Huh.
Which sucks because you can get VR missions. You could get like Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3 and like the little HD compilation disc or a little chip. And then, of course, you can download the Peace Walker game, like the PSP version, right?
Yeah.
So, with that being said, it's like now you can do Metal Gear Solid 1, Metal Gear Solid 2, Metal Gear Solid 3, then you can do Peace Walker, and if you have the HD compilation of 2 and 3, that comes with Metal Gear and Metal Gear 2 from the MSX. and MSX2.
Huh.
So, you get Metal Gear 2, Metal Gear Solid, VR missions, Metal Gear Solid 2, Metal Gear Solid 3, portable ops if you want that, because it's not technically canon, because it wasn't done by Kojima.
Right.
Kojima doesn't really consider that canon, but it kind of is.
Right.
And then Peace Walker. All those Metal Gear games on one system.
I watched a thing yesterday on why to own a Vita. Why are developers still putting stuff on the Vita and not just exclusively on the PS4? Why? Because it's too damn easy not to.
Mm-hmm.
That is literally what it boils down to. So this game here, this Aven Colony, you can literally, other than it says on the back here, PS4 Pro with the Pro enhancement graphics. If it didn't have that, I could take this game and put it on there and dull down the resolution a little bit. Same game. Just that's why, like, World of Final Fantasy is the only place I want to put it, because it looks the same on the PS4, other than it's...
And if you cared enough, you could get both and do the little data.
Data transfer, which I don't care to do that. It doesn't bother me, because you can not... Yes. Oh, it's cross-platform. But on this one, on Aven, I could remote play.
Yeah.
So, if you look, almost all PS4 games are remote play, because this Vita, which people just don't. It's just it didn't get like it didn't have that push like the PSP. The PSP was like you can hack it and put everything on it. Everybody's like, oh my god, I want one, and it exploded. The Vita, people are shunning it because I can't hack it. But when they really look at the system, it's so capable.
The Vita is the most underrated handheld I think I've ever owned.
Yes.
It is an awesome handheld. It is capable of so much. I don't even think that the system has even been pushed to anywhere near its limits. I would love to see it done. There is a playable 100% at launch, I think it was at launch, Uncharted game for this.
Yeah.
And it's Uncharted. It's not let's like what they did. Do you remember the Killzone game for PSP? It was Killzone, but it was like an isometric shooter where you like ran your guy around and you did like a cover shooter with that. That's not Killzone. There is a first-person Killzone game for this. It is Killzone.
I mean, this is one of the first handhelds that there is. I mean, anything you play on your PS4, you play on this. Almost anything. Even so, it even has the touch on the back.
Yeah.
Even if you wanted to have that touch feel on the back for like Infamous.
And now
you could do Infamous on this.
Oh yeah, and see, we were wondering for a long time whether or not Vita was going to get an Infamous game, and they're not.
No.
And I honestly think that PlayStation's kind of shelved the Infamous series after Second Son.
Yeah.
And First Light, simply because it didn't perform like they wanted it to. Infamous 1 and 2 really made something, and I think that they just like didn't capitalize on it.
Right.
Now, some games, and we mentioned it before on the other episode, actually with the remote play, have gone through enough trouble to have a custom layout for controls, like Fallout 4 and Destiny, I think. Both have custom controls for playing on the Vita. That is awesome, and I wish others would do that as well. And I really do wish that you could be able to play MGS4 on this. That'd be a lot. You would probably run your battery down just watching some of the movies. Are so long. That game,
you better plug it in.
That game can be so good. MGS4, awesome experience, especially after you play the entire series up to that point. It has so much to talk about, so much to answer. It was supposed to be the closer to everything, and in a way it was. But you sit there, you might go get a sandwich, go get some food, go order pizza, get some popcorn, because literally in the middle of the game, there's like a 45-minute cutscene at the end of the game. Literally, the end of the game will take you an hour and a half to get through, because it's just so long. But then by the end of it, it did such a good job. And then they did 5, and it was like, I see where they're going, and it could have been really cool. But there was just so much shit wrapped up behind the scenes that they didn't get a chance to finish it properly. And so 5 is forever going to have that asterisk next to it as best Metal Gear game they've ever created. not the best story.
Yeah.
Because gameplay-wise, gosh, that game is awesome, dude. That I loved playing missions in that game. You felt like a freaking operative. You felt like Big Boss. You felt like Snake. You felt like they had this open world where you go in and infiltrate somewhere, and you can kind of decide how you wanted to do it. You can scope it out. You can study the sentry patterns, and it was everything that, like, man, this is what he wants Metal Gear to be. And then it's like the layout that he decided to go with it. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. The story, there should have been like a real finite mark where I think they got so far into it, and they were like, at a crossing point where Kojima's like, well, we need to finish the game, but I need more time. And Konami's like, we need to lock you down to this. You're going to be here. And Kojima's like, I don't want that. There's the headbutts. Yep. And so while Phantom Pain probably could have actually used another whole year in development.
Yeah.
Even though it had already been delayed like 3 times, at that point, another year in development would have like saved that game. It would have been a damn near masterpiece. Kojima always likes the big twist. He always likes a big throw you off your guard.
Yeah.
The original Metal Gear game, throwing you off your guard is your commander's the villain, Big Boss, and then the twist in Metal Gear 2, Big Boss is still alive.
Right.
He's running this. The twist in Metal Gear Solid with the whole Fox die thing.
Yeah.
And how you're a walking virus. The twist in 2, how you don't play as Snake, you play as this young kid. And all the stuff they led you to believe meant that Snake was the hero. And now you're like, what am I doing? Who is this kid? The twist in 3, the twist in 4, then the twist in 5 was making you the player the next big boss. And what was cool about it is that in Metal Gear Solid 5, in the preamble, you play as Big Boss.
Right.
In Phantom Pain, you don't play as Big Boss. But you don't know that you're not Big Boss.
Right.
You create a character at the beginning of the Phantom Pain, and it's revealed that is you. They made you up. They did surgery and trained you in your coma to be Big Boss. And so you are the Phantom Big Boss. You are Venom Snake. And that is the Big Boss villain in Metal Gear Solid 1. That's why he's still alive in 2. Because there's 2 big bosses now.
Right.
It was genius. It was like, oh. But then it was like the execution. They could have done a little bit more. It was like, here's this awesome cupcake. Cool, what's on it? It's a cake. Where's the icing? I didn't have time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like and this is the second podcast that I've actually used the cupcake reference. I haven't used burgers yet, guys. Don't worry. But yeah, dude, Vita, you can get all the Metal Gear games on here besides 4 and 5, and it's awesome. It's just an awesome little system.
It's a great system.
So what else do we have? Oh, the N64 controller. I showed you that earlier.
Yes.
All right, so
I'm not a big fan of it. It's neat, but
here's the thing. Here's why I'm a fan of it. And that's because the original N64 controller stick sucks dick.
Oh yeah, I don't disagree with that at all.
And what you have here is it is shaped like a modern day like Xbox controller. You have a new modern style stick. You have a D-pad. You have start. Then you have your A, B, and then your C sticks. You have your shoulder buttons, and you have C or Z triggers. They're both Z.
Right.
Whichever one you want to use. That is reminiscent of something called the Horry Controller. Have you ever seen a Horry Controller?
I believe so.
Where you have a Horry in 64 and 65 controller. And what that is, it's very similar. It is just smaller. It is so small. The stick is like a GameCube stick.
Right.
And then you have buttons and you have Z buttons on the back. This thing is so expensive.
What?
Yeah, let's go see how much this is right now. Let's go to Amazon. Amazon's a good place to buy stuff, right?
Amazon.com.
Okay. Used from $110.
Oh. Whoa. No.
Now, basically what the Horry controller does is that it's a smaller, more compact controller that swaps the stick with a D-pad. Like where it would normally be. There is no 3-prong. There's that classic, do you hold the controller like this? Do you hold it like this? You know?
Yeah.
Whichever you do. Now that this new controller brought to us by Retro Fighters is a much easier to hold, more ergonomic friendly controller. Right. They're designing it to be more friendly for fighters.
Right.
You know, hence the Retro Fighters label. But it also has a better stick, and it has a better layout and feel. And check this out. Okay, their goal was 13,000.
Mm-hmm.
They've been up for 9 days.
And they're already
they're at $87,402.
Huh.
So, what are your pledges? $1. Thank you for your support. For $1, you get nothing. For $20, you get a controller.
That's worth it.
Boom.
Just right out the gate, $20 you get a controller. That's worth it.
Yeah, $30 you get the controller and a poster. For $45 you get the controller, a poster, and your name listed in the instruction manual as a backer. And then for $100 you get all that stuff and a limited edition Fighters t-shirt. Retro Fighters VIP Club. They receive all the incentives above and be a part of the Retro Fighters VIP Club and receive all current and future Retro Fighters branded products for free.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
The VIP is cool. If it goes somewhere, that's amazing.
Now they also have another controller for like the NES. I don't know how I feel about that controller, to be honest with you, because it's not. I don't really see how.
You can improve on the NES controller.
Well, it's
for the time.
It has 2 sticks, and it's just.
Ugh.
I don't really understand what you would use the sticks for on like an NES. Like you know what I mean?
Yeah, there's no
It
reason.
has the A and B buttons, and it has your D-pad, and it has your start and select. So there's your classic buttons, right? And also has some shoulder buttons. Now, I don't know. I want to say that you'll be able to use this for maybe a PC. Yeah, for NES and PC, dual compatibilities, and I think the N64 is going to be the same way.
Huh.
So I think that's where the sticks come in. But with this, you only get 2 face buttons, which kind of sucks for your PC because to be able to use that as like a PC controller, you want 4 face buttons, you know?
Right.
But did they have did I read that right and see that there is a switch? Controller switch.
I don't see it.
I don't see it either. I don't know why that's on here. Oh wait, silicone skin for Switch. Oh, they made a skin for the Switch controller. Alright.
Well,
Well,
it's a skin.
It is what it is.
Oh, that's for the
For the Pro controller.
the Joy-Con.
No, it's for the Pro controller. See it? Silicone skin for Switch Pro controller.
Oh, okay. I was looking at it from they had the back view from it.
Anyway, I mean, I really do dig that new Retro Fighters N64 controller because the N64 controller is what it is. Not the biggest fan of it.
No.
It's really clunky and weird. For some games, it's not so bad. For the wrestling games, it's cool because you move your guy with the D-pad and you rarely use the stick for your taunts and just for your specials.
Right.
You hold it just like a regular controller, but for GoldenEye and all that stuff down here, so now you'll be able to play GoldenEye and the
Perfect Dark.
Perfect Dark. I almost said like Dark Forces, but that's Star Wars. To play Perfect Dark, you can just go have a more modern style controller.
Yeah.
So it was like it would feel more comfortable to you. And somebody commented on like I found that on Instagram. There was an ad for it, or somebody shared it, or somebody had said that they had given to it, and they said that why isn't there a second stick here instead of why not have a C stick instead of like C buttons?
Right.
And they were like, we were looking for a more authentic N64 experience, and ultimately we were looking at this to be a fighting controller.
Right.
So having the C buttons make it almost kind of like that old school Sega 6-button front button style, and that's what they were going for. So I'm excited, and I hope that I don't know if I can get to the Kickstarter at all because I mean I just bought Night Trap. Again, I got to manage my expenses and when and where I could buy stuff, but I hope that controller is available. I mean, it overshot its goal by so much that I'm hoping that's going to be, available to us.
It's a fairly common item, hopefully.
Yeah, well, that you'll be able to order on the website like the NES one.
Right.
So I think that's all I got for today.
Yeah.
Do you have recommendations? That one.
I don't know. Maybe this one right here.
That one.
World of Final Fantasy.
Okay. And I'll go ahead and just say Metal Gear Solid. And guys, to get that on the Vita, just download it on your PS3. Don't install it, and go into the Content Manager, copy from PS3.
Before it downloads.
Before it installs. Do not install it.
Yeah,
download it and just keep it there in your games as like a little waiting to install. And when you would click on it to install it, and it would do its thing, and then it would go to your games folder. Don't do that. Just leave it there. And then when you go to copy content, it'll go to the PS3 to PS Vita, and then go to your applications, and it'll be under the PlayStation one, and you'll see it. Click on it. It'll be like 700 megabytes, and it'll transfer over, and then it'll be on your game menu, and you can start playing it. Like, it'll just boom, it's there. It's ready to go. And so yeah, Metal Gear Solid. I booted it up to test it out and was like, oh.
You're like, oh no, here we go.
Oh man, it was nostalgia. It was everything. Loved it. I love Metal Gear Solid. That's one of my favorite games of all time growing up.
Yeah.
So
it's a good game.
With that being said, guys, I think that's going to do it for us today here on the Game Addicts podcast. Thank you guys for watching and listening to this show on all of its places, whether you're on audio, on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, Google Play Music, Podbean, YouTube. If you're watching us here, I don't even think I even looked at the camera today. I've just been looking down. I have a habit of that. I really have a habit of just looking at the stuff here on the table, looking at you. But really, that's what a podcast is anyway. I'm not doing all that kind of stuff. But thank you guys out there for watching and listening to us. You can check us out on all of our social medias. We have a Facebook page, Game Addicts Podcast or Play, whatever it is. It varies per one. Twitter's Game Addicts Play because of the space.
Yeah.
We're available on Instagram, Game Addicts Podcast. There, you can see the pictures of stuff we get up. And I've been posting pictures occasionally of my collection when I put it into the Game Eye. I took pictures of them,
Right.
So you can kind of see that over there as well. And of course, like we announced, please go to the Journey to Comics Patreon. Go to patreon.com/journeytocomics and give $1. Give $3 if you want to really help support us over there on the network. You get this episode a week early up to. So if you guys don't want to wait, you're like, man, I want to hear it now. Guess what? That's for you guys. And of course, if you don't want to, you don't have to do that. You can just listen to the show just as we've always done it. And we are going to continue to do that for you guys. So I think it's everything. I think I knocked all those plugs right out of the park.
Yeah.
So we will see you next week right here on the Game Addicts Podcast, episode 44. Until then, I'm Brando.
And I'm Mike.
We'll see you later.